Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to, formally, the BalaCore Fitness Show and a big announcement. It's kind of going to go with the announcement that I'm about to make. I obviously am part of BalaCore. BalaCore is the piece of fitness equipment that I invented. It's what I train all my members on. It's something that I do believe in. It's high intensity training, low impact for your joints. Being in the business for over 37 years, this piece of equipment that I put together really encompasses everything that I believe in fitness. Now, my fitness, the way I teach, my modality. This is my theory. That doesn't mean it's only theory. It doesn't mean that it's the right theory. It means it's my theory. Does it work? Is it effective? Yes, it is. Is it everybody's cup of tea? No, it's not. So what happened about a few months ago is that I had the opportunity to basically join up with another gym. And that was a good thing for me. It was just a very, very positive move for me. And then it just so happened, you know how things happen in life. I had about 3 or 4 gyms show up. And they were all very interested in bringing myself and BalaCore and my theory into their gym because they saw what was going on with my members and the people that I was training. Their bodies were training. They were getting healthy. Things were going on with my members. They were happy. They looked amazing. They didn't have injury. And their bodies were continuing to get stronger, lose weight. And there's kind of a BalaCore look that you get. And it's also good and fantastic for any age group. So you can have someone that is 15 years old working next to somebody in their 70s, and they're both going to be able to benefit from the BalaCore. So whatever I brought in or wherever I brought it, I was going to be able to bring in something fantastic into a larger gym facility. And I had a few gyms that approached me. And I listened to each one of them, and I've got to say, all of them they were amazing. People in the fitness industry are wonderful. Their first intent is to help people, and that's why they've gone to the gym industry in health and fitness, because they care. They care about people, they care about fitness, and then they take it one step farther and they decide this is the business that I want to get into. So everybody that I met with was wonderful. But there was one gym that stood out to me, and I'm going to tell you why it stood out to me. The first reason it stood out to me is when I walked in the door. A beautiful, beautiful facility is facing me. I open the door, walk in, and this is gorgeous in here. It's clean. It makes sense. And what I mean by it makes sense, a lot of gyms, when you walk in the door, you walk in and everything just kind of looks like it's all over the place. Like nothing really makes sense. Things aren't grouped together in the right way. It's called sequencing when it comes to fitness. This gym had an amazing sequencing, an amazing owner who I was hoping you're going to get to meet today, but you will meet him in 2 weeks. And the gym that I chose and the gym that I wanted to team together with BalaCore is UFC Gym Santa Clarita. Now, a lot of people don't even know that we have a UFC Gym Santa Clarita out in this valley. Well, we do. And where it's located is behind the IHOP across the street from the movie theaters on Soledad Canyon in Canyon Country by Everest. A lot of people know Everest it's like a fast food, but the food is really good in there. And so if you know that area, if you know IHOP and you know Everest, you know where UFC Gym Santa Clarita. It is a beautiful, beautiful facility. Now, UFC is a very big brand, Ultimate Fighting Club, Ultimate Fighting Champion is what it stands for. I don't know why I said club, but champion. So a lot of people watch the fights all the time, and so they think the gym is a fighting gym. And it couldn't be further from the truth. And that's when I first was meeting up with them and I was first walking in the door. I didn't know what I was walking into. I was like, I didn't know. Is this a fighting gym? What's going to be here? How am I even going to fit in here? The way I train is resistance training, and I'm so specific on the muscle, and I train in a way where I instruct people and I teach them about their bodies and I transform bodies my way. But how am I even going to fit into a fighting gym? And I've got to say, it is not a fighting gym at all. I call it like the ultimate family club, because what's fantastic about it is when you walk in the door, if your son or daughter is 12 years or older, your son or daughter can work out and take the classes there. So let's say you are taking a boxing class with the hanging bags. Your 12-year-old son or daughter can be right next to you and you can train together. A lot of gyms, they have quote-unquote daycare. So your daughter or your son gets kind of put in a room and that's where they stay. At UFC Gym Santa Clarita, they have fantastic classes. And Asia, who runs the evening classes at 4:30 for 12 and older, she runs amazing classes. They're learning things. They're not just there sitting in a room. I see her doing so many different types of activities with these kids, and they're learning. They're learning a little bit about the martial arts, and sometimes the whole class is about martial arts. So your child isn't sitting down just kind of figuring it out. They're not sitting on their iPad. They're actually moving. So if you want, they can be separate in their own class with kids their own age, or they can be with you. That's a choice you get to make. Isn't that great? There's not just one choice for you. I loved that part of this gym. The other part, like I told you, it was clean and well taken care of. The equipment is all up to date. That's an important thing for me when I walk into a gym. How much ownership and how much pride is this owner going to take in their gym? It's something that everybody should pay attention to when they walk into a gym. Because if you walk into a gym and there's just stuff all over the place and equipment is broken down and nothing's really in the right place, like you're kind of looking at it going, I don't even know where to start, that's usually going to kind of be run through the gym in every aspect. And that's something that I really was really looking for. I wanted a gym sequenced well put together, nice and clean, updated equipment, because I knew at that point that the owner was on board. And then let's take it one step farther and talk about the trainers and the staff there at UFC Gym Santa Clarita. This is another thing that really made me want to be part of this gym. The staff, first of all, the staff is amazing, but then let's get to the coaches. The coaches at UFC Gym Santa Clarita are craftsmen at what they do. They're experts. None of these teachers at UFC have gone to a weekend class, gotten a certification, and now they're getting fed their choreography and their music and off they go. These are men and women that if they're teaching a kickboxing class or a boxing class, they're competing as well. So you are with the real deal. Everyone is kind of in their lane line at UFC Gym Santa Clarita. Obviously, I'm in the BalaCore lane line, and that's where I stay because that is my expertise for over 37 years. The technique and the theory that I am training with is something that I've been working with and working on for 37 years. It's something that I know I know it inside and out. It's my theory. And it's a theory that a lot of people are going to love, and some people it might not be their cup of tea, and that's okay. Because right outside the door, you're going to have Asia, and Asia knows what she's doing. She's not just an aerobic teacher that's teaching boxing and kickboxing and the kids' classes. Well, she's a mother. I think she has 5 kids, so she's a mother teaching the kids' class. But she also knows what she's doing. She started out doing kickboxing and boxing, and now she is finally teaching. This is her lane line. This is what she stays with. And she's amazing at it. So you know when you show up, you're with somebody, that it's not a weekend class. This is a passion that they have. And they've taken their passion one step farther into teaching it. And how they learn how to teach is by doing. I do this with my members all the time that are taking a class. On Saturday, I do a circuit class. And what I do on purpose is I set everybody up on their first station. And before they move stations, they have to tell the person that's coming to their station what they're doing. And why I do that is you learn by teaching. So these teachers are not only learning by teaching, and they're teaching, and they also have the ability and the passion to teach, and they're great coaches. Really good coaches. They have the ability to coach a 12-year-old next to a 60-year-old. That takes talent. That takes ability, and that takes an ultimate know-how of what you're doing inside and out. We have Ronnie. He's another trainer, another coach over at UFC. He's fighting this weekend. So when he's in there and he's showing you and he's teaching and he's doing his privates and he's teaching you about boxing and he's teaching you about kickboxing, he's doing it. He's out there competing with it. And what I also found very, very impressive to me is that 2 or 3 students in these classes are actually fighting themselves. And then they're joining the class. So if you're in this, and I don't want that to intimidate you, because someone that could kind of take you back and say, well, wait a minute, then I'm not going to be able to do a class where somebody's actually competing. And you couldn't be farther from the truth there. It's something I like to call with my members, and I teach this all the time. It's called finding your rabbit. Finding your rabbit in every class that you take. Now, what I mean by that is a rabbit is really hard to catch, right? The rabbit's always faster. The rabbit's always zigzagging. It's quicker. It's all those things. And whenever you're in a classroom type situation, and I love this for fitness, analogy for fitness, you always want to look in a classroom and find your rabbit. You want to find that person that kicks like you want to kick, punches like you want to punch, runs faster than you're running, lifts more than you're lifting, able to do more reps than you're able to do. So while you're paying attention to your coach and what's going on in the classroom, you pick out that one person in the class that you aspire to be like. And for some of you, it could be the teacher. For others, it could be someone else in that class that you look at and say, gosh, you know what? I love the way that person punches or kicks. They're doing so well. I want to be as good as them. That's your rabbit. So you keep your eye on your rabbit. So if you have somebody in that class that's actually competing and fighting, that can be your rabbit. Or maybe it's that person that just knows all the moves, and it might be your first and second time in the class. So never be intimidated if you have more advanced people in the classroom. They're going to lift you up and make you better. At the classroom, it's going to help you. It's going to give you some motivation to keep going and get better. So you're in a classroom now, and we're sticking right now to the kickboxing and boxing classes that are taught at UFC Gym, and why it stood out to me and why I wanted to be part of this gym is you'll see someone that might be there. They've just started working out. They know they need to work out. They've always wanted to do boxing, kickboxing. The martial arts have always, and I want to just, it's martial arts, but it's also, just regular, I guess you'd call modalities of fighting. They've always wanted to do that. And now they're put in a situation where they're getting to do it, and they're getting trained by the best coaches that know what they're doing. It's their passion. This is what they do. They're taking their passion one step farther and teaching others now. Because that's what tends to happen in everybody's passion, if you think about it. When you have a passion for something, you're driven towards it. You can't help it. This is your passion. This is where you're driving. Everything in the world interests you about that. You want to read every article. You want to watch every video. You have a passion for this. And now when you get your passion, you're actually living out your passion. The next thing, the natural thing for most of us, is to turn around and to be pathfinders and teach others our passion and bring them up with us and get the joy out of taking something that means so much to us and watch other people's eyes light up when we're teaching them. So that's what's going on with the coaches at UFC Gym Santa Clarita. We teach so many different classes, and that's what's important as well. Up in the upcoming weeks, what we're going to be doing every other week when we're on the air, you're going to meet Mike in 2 weeks, and he's the owner of UFC Gym Santa Clarita, and I was so impressed by Mike when I met him for the first time. This is a man he's just a truly good man. He knows what he wants for the gym. I love that he loves the gym clean. The first time he gets in there and he's working just as hard or harder than anyone in that gym, making sure that it's great for the members. I remember the one time when we brought Cycle, because they have spin classes at UFC Gym Santa Clarita, and I walked by the room and he was in there and he was fixing all the bikes to make sure that they're all in line and they were looking good and ready for the class. And then I knew, you know what, this is an owner, this is somebody that I want to work with, because he takes pride in the gym, just like we take pride in teaching what we teach and teaching our passion. So that was another reason why I was very excited about joining UFC Gym Santa Clarita, and I can't wait for you to meet Mike in 2 weeks on the air. But we are also going to start to meet all the other trainers. We're going to start to bring them in maybe 1 or 2 at a time so they can start talking about their theory in fitness. Now, I love that all their theories are their own, and they're their own theories. They're all a little bit different. When you walk into a gym that has one theory and one theory only, and everybody is actually trains on one theory and with one theory only, that can be, it's just missing out on so much. It's like anything, if you're so narrow-minded, not narrow-minded, but just like kind of have that narrow outlook, there's so much you're missing side to side. And let's say you walk into UFC Gym, Santa Clarita, you take my BalaCore class, and you're like, yeah, that's a good class. But at my class, you're not going to be, flipping tires, and you're not going to be on a TRX in my class. And that's something that you really desire. That's available at UFC Gym Santa Clarita. And I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, you're crushing me because that's what you want to do. I'm going to go, I think that's amazing. And we are blessed enough to be able to have that class to offer you. And that's called our DUT class. We have a turf room. So we have the tires. We have the platforms you can jump on. We have the TRXs. We have the kettlebells. We have all of that available as well. It's a CrossFit type class, but it's with its own theory of the teacher. The teacher is going to walk in with their theory. So it might be a little bit different with the different teachers that teach that class. And I can't wait for you to meet them because you're going to be extremely impressed by the training and by the passion and what these coaches are coming with and how much experiences these coaches are coming with. So if you're looking for a gym and you want to walk in the door and you want to know that the people that are running the classes and the people that are going to be taking you through the class and kind of guiding you on your fitness journey, you want to know that they are practicing what they preach. This is what they do. This is what they know. I would never take you into a kickboxing or a boxing class. Now, I do some boxing moves, some very simple boxing moves, mind you, but I might do that just to get your heart rate up. But I would never pretend to go out there and take you through a boxing class because that's not what I do. That's not my passion. That's not what I've grown up with. I've grown up with in resistance training. I've grown up with muscle and body transformation. I have made my passion something different. So that's what I'm going to stick to, my lane line. I might bounce back and forth a little bit, but I'm going to stick to what I know. And my theory that I have is, which we've talked about and you've heard me on the air week after week after week, every time I've been on here hearing and listening to my theory. So a lot of you already know my theory in fitness, but my theory isn't the only one. And I would be wrong to say that my theory is the only one, is the best one, is the one that everybody should follow. My theory sticks with a certain group of people. And it's a certain group of people that are going to be attracted to my theory. I mainly work with women, but I do have men in my classes as well. Men will get just as many results as women will in my class. I work with women that are 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, some of them going through menopause. I work with women, and why I think that's the one thing that I do kind of have a strong passion for, or I do know that I have a strong passion for, is I understand what women are going through, especially as they get older and they start hitting 40s and 50s and 60s. Their bodies are changing. What they ate before is not working for them anymore. So their nutrition now has to be completely changed and revamped because nothing is working the same because our hormones are changing, we're changing. Then also, we have got to stick with resistance training. We need to keep our muscle mass up, and we need to keep our bone density up. And why working with free weights is going to help keep that bone density up. So that is kind of my lane line that I work with. So I'm working on that. Then right outside the door, I have Asia, and she has people, what she has people doing, running up and down, hitting, punching. I took one of her classes one day, and I feel like I'm so coordinated and I'm so fit. And I sat there going, oh my gosh, because she is so advanced at what she does, but she breaks it down for you. So I understood what I was supposed to be doing. But gosh, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't kick? I thought I was a good kicker. But because she could take everything that I'm doing up to the next level, and she has that experience to explain it to me, she took what I know and made it seem like nothing, which I love, because in that moment, I got to learn so much from her in that 1 hour. And she has people running, jumping, kicking, punching, if it's kickboxing, just punching, if it's boxing. And then she also does other things as well, core, all kinds of different modalities. But she has her theory, and I cannot wait for you to meet her because you are going to love her story. She's got an amazing story. And some of the other coaches that are part of UFC Gym Santa Clarita, which I'm going to talk about when we get back from break. Right now, we need to take a break, though. This is Ellen Como on BalaCore Fitness Show here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.